I just start off with thanking those that have come. We really appreciate it. I've taken a lot of phone calls from several individuals and neighbors and friends, and so we love to hear the mayor. We jokingly oftentimes will say that these chambers are often empty, and it's very common for us to have an open house or a meeting here, and there's only a couple people. We'll have hours of just empty chambers. So thank you for being here. It's challenging I hate being in front of the microphone. I can only imagine if you're,
The American Fork City Council convened today on June 9th, 2026. And as I predicted earlier last week, there was a large turnout. I anticipated a lot of public comment regarding the reckless Ben Lego theft fiasco with bricks and minifigs. And while that did bring some public commenters out, there also seemed to be a lot of people there just because this was a budget meeting. But council members did comment on the large turnout, as was untypical for them. And there were certainly a lot of people that spoke up and out about the bricks and minifigs debacle. The large turnout was no surprise to me, as I used to run video cameras and do other work for city councils in another city myself. And typically, anytime there was an instance of police brutality, and in the particular city I worked for, that occurred quite a bit actually, but there would be a large turnout of people from the public expressing their righteous anger over what happened. So I anticipated, with all the videos Reckless Ben has been putting out and all the attention American Fork is getting, I anticipated that the public would turn out, and sure enough, they did. So I collected some of the comments from the public. There was less than I thought there would be, but still, there were some pretty good ones.
Did I say your name right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Just like the month. So I'm here on similar words to the man in the suit back there. Last month, a man investigation of a company was swatted by American Fork Police Department over accusations of theft. The company in question was accused of failing to uphold contract with a client in which their $200,000 allegedly worth of collectibles were failed to be paid back upon distribution. The investigator of their efforts, which they stated were to see the collectibles either returned or the money paid for, were met with efforts from the police department to do the opposite of that. I wish to make clear that this is not an accusation of prejudice, but rather an observation into the behavior of the officers involved. Upon the investigators' arrival to have a conversation with the company manager, as is required before a civil suit, they were stopped by officers. On drive home from work, the investigator was pulled over and singled out like the man over there mentioned. Shortly after being informed that the court case and the legal process being used were real, the officers proceeded to arrest the investigator. Upon attempted delivery of court papers by an official, they were also stopped 3 separate times by the American Fork Police Department. And after the investigator set up fund to help out the owner of the collectibles during the legal process, police forces showed up to his domicile and he was held at gunpoint. The police department during this has demonstrated reckless usage of resources and responsibilities, and it has tainted faith in American Fork's ability to protect and serve. And it is my calling, as well as for a lot of people, that an investigation be conducted into the officers responsible, and if wrongdoing is found, to consider termination with replacement.
Hi, Daniel Soroka. When I reviewed the budget, I noticed that there was an increase of around $600,000, which is a 9% increase to our property taxes. Even though this increase is large, it is not large enough for the upcoming civil lawsuits that our city is about to face because of the misconduct of our police department. Our police department in March went on a crusade against an individual, and he now has legal rights to sue this city. That is going to be our taxpayer dollars that are going to have to pay for that. The police chief then went on a media release and lied to the public. He stated that the individual did not complete a traffic stop or did not complete a stop sign complete stop, but when reviewing the video evidence, they did. He said that when this individual was trying to serve court papers, which is his civil right, that when the police reviewed the court papers, they said that they had already been served, which was a lie. They had not been. The police swatted this individual, arresting 5 people without any arrest warrants, and then took 4 of them who they did not even know the identity of into custody, one of them being a minor, which they pointed a gun at. This is unacceptable conduct of the police department. When Paul took office, he said, "I am extremely committed to ensuring our community members are proud of their police department and their officers. I am not proud of my police department officers. In fact, seeing this conduct, I am in fear of standing here with seeing if there's any retribution that they might bring on me, because that is what they did to this individual. And if they're willing to do that to them, they are willing to do that to me and to anyone else." Thank you.
The American Fork Police Department is fond of saying we do things differently here, and they're right. We saw it with the Cody Greenland case where institutional self-protection outweighed constitutional rights. And we see it here today as they have weaponized public records to manipulate narratives and shield themselves from scrutiny. When rights are violated and trust is broken, I think of the wise words the artist's grandson said. Our thoughts, our prayers can't bring back what's no longer there. The silent are damned. Just having thoughts and prayers won't fix this. It is time for this council to do something differently. Stop shielding the AFPD and initiate a formal independent third-party audit. It is your responsibility to fix this department. Our rights are not optional, and the status quo is no longer acceptable. Thank you.
And from what I've seen in the past, when the public is outspoken against police brutality or police actions in general, police unions and other friends of the officers will often send people in to kind of give a rebuttal or give their side of the case. I think that's what this guy was doing in the black shirt. I think that's what he was doing, but I'm not really quite sure. He kind of started out by talking about incidents where he was in fact abused by the police, but then he kind of tried to turn it around to have a positive message at the police. Unfortunately for him, the timer started going off right as he was wrapping up and getting to his point.
I'm a former vice principal, school teacher, special ed teacher, and I'm uniquely qualified to address the city council today. Unfortunately, I'm the victim of 2 scenarios in which Chief Paul has graciously apologized on behalf of the city of American Fork as well as the American Fork Police Department, in which I was the victim and unfairly treated in 2024, in which I feel Chief Paul is an incredible leader in our community and demands accountability and takes ownership, much like a father with his children with his subordinates. He loves them dearly and directs them, but they don't always know how to take direction and move forward. I have 2 apology letters, one of which takes place with a police officer committing a misdemeanor parking in the disabled parking stall. And when I confronted him, he invites me to speak with him and then decides to berate the city of American Fork and then tells me he can park here under any circumstances. And then while committing the misdemeanor and in retaliation trespasses me with a criminal trespass. In fear, I waited almost a year to address this with Chief Paul, who quickly took ownership and shared with me that this officer was unbecoming of an officer and was a few months prior invited to resign. That trespass ordered upon me was rescinded. In 2024, I called the American Fork Police Department when I had a trespasser that was unwilling to leave. 2 officers and a lieutenant conducted the investigation, and when the trespasser was there, one officer called me an A-word. Then, before letting the trespasser go on body camera, one officer said to the trespasser, "Well, if everything goes as planned, I'll traumatize me for you." Again, Chief Paul notes his officer is unbecoming, retaining of his officer. I love American Fork and was ready to go on YouTube with this. Ownership of Chief Paul because I love him. I'm the son of a and we need to erode public trust. I'm a city Mayor Frost can embrace our American Fork do just that.
Now this timer, if you're wondering what the beeping and bells are happening as people are speaking, this is quite common for city council meetings. They'll have a timer to indicate that someone's time has been completed. Now this city council is not quite as adept as I would hope. And this one guy seemed like he had something cool to say, but I could barely hear him because the bell was going off for most of his speech.
Tried to use the American Fork Police Department complaint system. It is deficient. When submitting outcomes, the message says it was received, but you have no confirmation, no record of your filing at all. It doesn't fall if you have no filing an online complaint against the American Fork Police Department is less than an administrative process and more a game of chance. This isn't a minor technical inconvenience. A complaint system that doesn't provide proof of submittal, doesn't tell you how to fix errors, and destroys your work when you violate unspecified rules, that is a system that fails the public it's supposed to serve. I'm asking the council to fix this. Specifically, provide a confirmation email, including the full text of the complaint and a traceable complaint number. Provide detailed error messages and return users to the filled out form when they need to make changes. These are basic, solvable problems. The First Amendment guarantees the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The current online complaint system chills that fundamental right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
So I just want to say that the eyes of Utah, the eyes of you two, back and forth. And stuff's happening if people aren't aware of it. It's the, well, Legos that we're all familiar with. I am grateful. I am grateful and the work that they do. For the mayor, the DA, and anyone else in a position of power to look into the issue, to do your sworn duty, and to keep being amazing, wonderful officers of the law and not let this be a stain on Utah and specifically on American Fork. I know we can do better, and I will continue doing my best to support our local and law enforcement leaders in making this right and giving the world a better view of Utah. Thank you.
So it's great to see the people of American Fork showing up to the city council to speak out about police overstepping and breaking the law themselves. I hope to see more of this at future American Fork City Council meetings. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because, as you know, today Reckless Ben was silenced by the actions of Bricks and Minifigs, the pending lawsuit effectively shutting down his free speech. He can't post part 3 of the documentary. And also he has had the GoFundMe taken down. So this is obviously more shenanigans from Bricks and Minifigs. It's not going to work, but the people really need to step up to support this cause now, because with Reckless Ben silenced, Bricks and Minifigs needs to see that the public pressure is still on. I've been really encouraged by this docuseries from Reckless Ben. What I love is that we see incidents of corporate malfeasance in our lives every day. We all know what it's like to live under this corporate oligarchy and this terrible culture of America where corporations and billionaires are shielded and the little people, they get trampled on every day. And I fervently believe that if every example of corporate overreach and corporate crimes was matched with the intensity and the energy and the creativity and joy that Reckless Ben has been giving this investigation, I think we'd be in a much better world. So I hope we all can step up and continue this fight against Bricks and Minifig and get Brian's dad his Lego collection back.
You're also okay.
Yeah. I'm going to take the spider with me.
Oh my, thank you.
Oh, good luck with that.
Tried.
Thank you for being here. I struggle with what to say today. It's, in light of everything, we're obviously taking a lot of that in. I just want to make a comment and just thank our police. I know that's maybe a challenging thing. My family, ironically, had a scenario in our, in the last week where our family was targeted. And I just want to publicly thank those that responded. That's my report.
Bless us as city staff and as the council and mayor with the wisdom and the willingness to hear what is being presented to us, and that we will also seek a spirit of unity, both as residents and as city officials, that we will come together even with our differing opinions and be unified as we move forward to build the city that we live in. And we are thankful for all those who serve in the military. We're thankful for our public safety personnel, the men and women who day in and day out put their lives on the line to keep us safe and to protect the residents. And we're thankful for the liberties that we have.